Good afternoon. My name is Aquanetta Parrott, and this week we are talking about the campus crisis management. Jumping right in, the first question states, what is the university's responsibility before, during, and after a crisis? Before, I feel most importantly, it's important for us to determine which population of students your office is responsible for in a crisis. For example, it's important that we distinguish between our graduate students versus our undergraduate students, as well as also considering long-term versus short-term visiting students. Secondly, I feel that it's important that we clarify what our office's roles will be in the crisis and how it relates to the roles of other offices on campus. What is the dean of students' responsibility? What is the campus health's responsibility? And do these responsibilities change with different student populations? It is important that we understand these responsibilities that for our students so that they have the support he or she needs. And lastly, I think before it's important that we understand who on our campus is responsible for different kinds of crises. For example, natural disasters, mental health emergencies, or criminal activity. Research who communicates with the media in times of crisis. Look into who notifies families in case of student deaths as well. Moving forward to during, I think it's important that we separate facts from unconfirmed information. Um, Document information clearly as it comes in. Keep notes in order, including your sources of information and when information was obtained. And maintain access to additional information. For example, it's important that if a student friend has called you to report the emergency, ask for the friend's contact information. And lastly, decide if you have time to deliberate or if an immediate response is necessary. Moving forward to after a crisis, I feel like it's important that we identify the resources that you used in responding to the crisis. If they were inadequate, make the changes necessary to ensure that you have adequate resources in the future. And lastly, determine if the process worked as they were meant to, or if changes needed to be made. Think about whether communication between different offices on campus worked well or not. Moving forward to the second question, what have you seen or on your campus or campuses about preparedness for campus crisis? Bethune-Cookman University has faced some issues as far as our plan for campus crisis management in the past. But as we move forward with our administration, Bethune-Cookman University has an aggressive program to prepare their campus for emergencies. One of the key components is the crisis management plan that emphasizes the importance of keeping our campus safe through communication, awareness, and preparedness. It is important for students, faculty, and staff and visitors to know how they can help themselves and others during an emergency. The Cookman Campus Management Plan has been designed and developed for university administration as a framework to be used to assess incidents that may affect the campus. The potential human and mission impact will be considered in determining the appropriate courses of action. This plan is not intended to provide guidance for every type of incident that may affect the campus operation, but it is a plan that will be used for continuous risk assessment and impact analysis to help us move forward as campus management continues to be one of our number one concerns in higher education. Moving to our third question, where are we okay and what more do we have to do as administrators? As campus teams have become more widespread, it's important that as a team we recognize the need for resources that will help um, existing as well as creating new teams to make informed decisions about the structure, scope, and functions and day-to-day operations. It's important as a team we make suggestions for our key issues that should be considered when creating or managing our campus team. And most importantly, it's important to consider various options for how we should continue to organize and lead and help our existing teams make these current functions and operations um, beneficial beneficial to our student body as it relates to campus safety in the future. Moving to our last question, do you feel prepared as a current or future administrator for a campus crisis? Why or why not? Honestly, we will never be fully prepared for a campus crisis, but it's important that we equip ourselves with the practical skills needed to prepare for and deal with these crises on our campuses. As a future administrator, it is likely that we find ourselves playing a key role in these kinds of situations, regardless if it's written into our formal job descriptions. It is important that we create campus management training that will help us become more effective in that role, enabling us to contribute to and shape crisis management plans. From natural disasters to student illnesses, it is important that we begin to plan ahead as well as respond when crises arrive. Um, this can help with minimizing the impact, minimizing these crises so that we can impact our students and our institution for the future.